Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, RFID Revolution, Boosting Efficiency and Accuracy in Fashion. I'm Bethany Dean, the Media and Communications Specialist here at AIM, and I'm pleased to be joined by Laura Alvarez from Selmark, David Ordana Montoro from JSV, and Stefan Linz from SATO Europe. First, a little bit about our antitrust policy. It is the policy of AIM to conduct its operations in strict compliance with the antitrust laws. No AIM activity shall create even the appearance of a violation of the letter or spirit of the antitrust laws. And then a little bit about AIM. AIM is an unbiased nonprofit global trade organization that focuses on advocacy, community, education, and insights and standards. We encourage you to get involved. If you would like to learn more about AIM and our initiatives, you can reach out to us at info@aimglobal.org or visit our website at aimglobal.org. And then a few other housekeeping notes. All participants are muted upon entering the meeting. To send a question, select Q&A at the bottom of the webinar application. We still want your participation even if you aren't able to speak during the meeting, and questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. A recording of this webinar will be available in the coming days and will be sent out to all registrants.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfectly.
All right, perfect. So hello, everyone. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Laura Alvarez from Spain. I'm working at Selmark almost for 2 years, and I carried out with my mate Diego the total RFID integration project. I leave you with the other two boys.
So my name is Stefan Lenz. I'm working with SATO now for a good 1 year. I'm the RFID solution manager at SATO in Europe. And I'll give over to David.
Hello, everybody. First, I want to thank to give us the opportunity to be on this webinar, and also for the people who have joined to this one. I'm David Orduña. I'm project manager for RFID and traceability solutions at JSV in Spain.
Okay, so first of all, we are going to see now, like Selmark at a glance. This year, we won recently the best-selling lingerie brand, the award. We are present in more than 40 countries all over the world, so we can sell internationally. We have 2 own factories, but when we have a high level of productions in some periods of the year, we outsource some production to another factories. Due to that, we have more than 300 direct jobs and direct jobs, more than 300 again. We can sell only in B2B or B2C ways because we don't have any own stores, but it is in our plans. Due to that, our numbers are about 1.5 million units per year, and that's more or less than Selmark.
Well, JSV is a technology-based company in Spain. We are mainly focused on automatic identification and data capture technologies integration in logistics and traceability and production and mobility process. I'm an integrator in relation to both hardware and software, since our solutions are prepared to be integrated into third-party applications like some corporative solution and some warehouse managed systems. We're working with these technologies more than 50 years, and we operate in more than 50 countries, and we have also our own repair service for some leading manufacturers. Well, what are our technological legs in the company? The first one would be the voice solutions. I mean, a voice solution is a solution that allows us to work with hands-free and eyes-free. I think that everybody knows the pick-to-voice solution, but we also use the voice for conducting quality inspections and also checklist solutions. We also have our traceability solution for the agri-food sector. It's a specific solution in which we combine also voice identification and RFID identification, and of course, barcode identification. We manage all the production from the origin to the destination, to the end customer. We also have mobility solutions. I mean, on field or in warehouse mobile solution, in which we also can provide the industrial devices that we need to implement that kind of solution. I mean, a solution for technical services or for inspections or for parking management or for auto sales, this kind of solutions. And at last but not least, RFID solutions for also logistics and traceability process that are the main goal for this session.
So then I take over, and as already mentioned in the beginning, I'm representing SATO. SATO is a $1 billion global player, mainly focused on producing printing and encoding devices for thermal transfer printing and encoding of RFID tags. We have presences in 90 countries. We are in Europe. We have 3 factories for label production. And yeah, seeing the number of customers who are repeating their purchases at us, it seems that they are happy. So a lot of repeatable business. And on a global perspective, we have 5,700 people. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it, we have like a $1 billion business on a global perspective. 1 billion is what we achieved in the last years. And the last 30 years, we are growing business. So these 3 companies are now coming together to bring RFID to the to Selmark business, to help Selmark in their requirements. And to give you a little introduction of what's happening there, we have prepared a little video which we are going to show you, and we keep quiet that you can just watch to it and have an impression about what is then next coming in the next slides and what we would like to present to you.
La tranquilidad de poder implementar una tecnología y que te garantice que todos sus procesos estén trazados y que lleguen los productos en las mejores condiciones a los clientes.
La facilidad y simplicidad con la que se pueden hacer despliegues, la solución Vamos Cloud cubre todos los servicios que el cliente final necesita.
Que tú te centres en tu producto y que te garantice que la tecnología te va a acompañar.
Porque ahora son mucho más ágiles, han ganado en seguridad, tienen en todo momento la información de dónde está cada cosa y han disminuido los errores que se producían previamente.
La tecnología RFID es un factor diferencial que nos puede permitir adquirir una ventaja competitiva. Hemos conseguido incrementar la capacidad de picking y de expedición en un 30%, que es un dato muy reseñable. Los 3 motivos por qué hemos escogido Vamos Cloud son la facilidad y rapidez de su implantación, la adaptabilidad a los operarios, la escalabilidad. Podemos empezar de un proyecto pequeñito, ir integrándolo y después ampliarlo y escalarlo a toda la cadena de valor.
Vamos Cloud RFID de SATO permite operar a las impresoras de forma autónoma. Desde Vamos Cloud se empieza a codificar y luego esa codificación se utiliza a lo largo de toda la cadena de suministro.
Sí, la tecnología actual ha mejorado nuestros procesos y a la hora de realizar packing list o picking nos es mucho más sencillo.
La facilidad de uso y la escalabilidad permite que Vamos Cloud pueda incrementar el número de codificaciones y la multilocalización de una manera siempre rápida y sencilla.
So that's it. Now we are going to understand how we work or how we manufacture to understand later our project. So we have 2 different type of products. So we have 2 different type of process. One of them we have we are present in the whole production process, from the design to the manufacture and packaging. So we send to our factories the raw materials and all the fabrics to the workshops, and they manufacture them, and then they send it to the packaging location, and finally we receive the final product. In the other type of the products, we have we take care of the design and the pattern making, and we send it to the production. So then in the end we receive the complete product. So these are the two types of production that we have. And inside of our building, the logistic process that we have are like receiving all the goods, then storing and doing like the inbound in our system. After that, we have to take like an inventory and to doing the outbound or to serve all the customer orders. We have to do the picking, the packing, and finally the shipping. Sometimes we have to manage all the returns. So,
well, in this case, all these pain points as common logistics operations from the RFID perspective have many improvements that can impact directly over there. So I was saying that the most important for me improvement for fashion industry is clearly the speed of the item identification. I mean, that's the most impressive improvement that can the users see in reality. So what comes after that? After that speed of item identification, with it comes efficiency, security, real-time verification and visibility, efficiency, minimizing errors, guiding the end user to work. And what's behind after that words? The real word is productivity. I mean, this is the things that we're looking for when we deploy an RFID project. Well, in this case, for each phase that you see of the production process, how can RFID enhances each of them? Well, in the case of the inbound process, I see that there are two main points that we can that can impact directly to that process. First would be the speed, the fast we can check the items that are coming into the warehouse from the providers, from the supplier. And also we can verify in real time to match the items we have received against the purchasing order, so we can see there the quantity of the SKUs or the concrete SKUs are the correct ones we are waiting for. So that's very, very important. After that, we got the picking. I will mix the picking and the shipping process because I from my point of view, both processes have the same purpose, is to prepare the correct items to be sent and not to have mistakes on that preparation. So from the picking perspective, I think there are also two key points we can improve. One will be how we can locate the correct items we have to prepare, and we also can check in real time the items we are picking. So we have, I would say, a double check verification of the picking process. And about the shipping, when we have the box prepared to be shipped, we can make a fast verification of all the items we have inside the box with our tunnel or with our portal. And that will be less errors in our preparation, that will be improve our customer satisfaction because we don't have mistakes on the orders. And we also can quickly prepare all the documentation that we have related to that processes, the packing list or delivery note or whatever. So, I mean, you will listen to the word speed or fast every time, several times in this webinar. About the inventory process, I would say that we got two key points. The first would be that we got real-time visibility of our stock because we can check very fast what we got in some shelf in our warehouse. And due to that, we can have very, very fine replacement process and also manage so fine our restocking alerts. So we keep our inventory very, very fine. Apart of this, we could make the inventory daily or weekly instead of yearly because we can make it with the fast process that allows us that technology. And in the return process, also we got the speed that RFID can give us to return all that items that comes into a box or into a pallet. And also, I think there is another thing very, very important is to check the authentication of the items that we are receiving, that if they come from the original stock that we had, so we can be sure that we are receiving has been sent from us. So this is also from my point of view a very important key on this process.
And now we are going to listen to Diego. He is my mate. He is going to explain how the idea was born of the project.
Hello, my name is Diego Piñeiro. My role at Selmark is engineering manager. Because of this, I face many time-consuming problems in our product flow. I have already encountered RFID 10 years ago, and thought this could be a good solution for these problems. I already partner companies that have already implemented RFID, and even more so, I thought this would be useful for us. The next step was searching for the right partners. But experience are also part of this, as the first partner went out of business even before we started opening. So I started the search again and found the solution for us through a SATO distributor and JSV, and now the RFID journey has begun. Hello.
So we come to the point that Diego wanted to implement RFID into the Selmark business, and through our partner GSV, SATO was included. So what is the SATO offering there? What was the option? It's in the end, we just needed the articles connected to an RFID label. And SATO printers do bring with them something what we call SATO AP solution. So SATO printers can communicate directly with a local network or with a cloud system to get their data without having a PC next to it. As the printers carry their own intelligence by a Linux device inside the printer. And so we offered Vamos Cloud, or in the end, together with GSV, we offered Vamos Cloud, a SATO-owned solution to Selmark, which simply does, or which in general does a little simple thing. We receive the articles and the deliveries and put them into the system of the printer. The printer communicates then with the cloud and is then reporting back and then connecting the articles with a specific label, which then just has to be connected with the article. So it's in general a quite easy solution, but quite effective regards to the pain points David was just pointing out. So one part to have an enabling or to enable RFID towards the customer is in the end what Vamos Cloud is offering here. And to not bring too many people to the panel, I have also a colleague from Spain, Gabriel, which then was involved into this from the beginning. And yeah, we just shoot a couple of videos to avoid to have too many people in the panel. So feel free to listen to Gabriel and his implementation to this project.
Hi everyone, I am Gabriel Martinez, Business Development Manager for Retail and Apparel in Spain and Portugal. In 2023, we connected with Selmark through our partner Warnier and JSV in Spain. They share their concern about improving their operation, and we recommended our Vamos Cloud tool. This solution stands out for its easy and speed of implementation, reliability, and most importantly, user-friendliness.
So what was at the end the timeline for the process? This project took about a year to develop, and as you can see, it has some key dates or points that, for example, the design of the ERP software, the SATO cloud with the SATO team, and the label and hardware design with the JSV team too, because it was so important to integrate all the designs to make it possible to work and to do it efficiently, because as you can see, it's only like a year to be playing with this technology and working day a day. So September 2023, we start to introduce the labels in our supply chain. So it was like a so quickly project, and from my point of view, to the point a project. And now they are going to explain some details about the label design.
Yeah, maybe I start and then I give over to David. So in general, we are speaking about lingerie products. So if you have a little bit of background on RFID, lingerie is a very, very nice project to use RFID for, because we have the articles are packed in boxes. We have a lot of air. There are no liquids. There are not a lot of metal. So we were able to move to really a standard size of a label with standard measurements. And so what you see here is a specific designed label which we can use for, which we are using for this specific request. In general, we could use any type of label with Vamos Cloud, but we have a special antenna design which we are using. David, I think you have more insights on what is now really the purpose of the label.
Yeah. Well, as you see, the label isn't very large. That's why, because the place in which it must be taken, so we have a small place to put the label. So, but I want to keep in mind that the smaller the label is, the more difficult it is to read. So this is one of the challenges we got on this project, because, as I said, as the smaller the label is, it's more difficult to read. And a part of the quantity and density of the items we must read. That's a very important challenge point of this project. And also, I think it's very important to say that the encoding that we got on this label is a GS1 encoding, so it's a standard protocol of encoding an item. So we can introduce easily this kind of item into the supply chain, because everyone can read that label and, I could say, understand what the label is saying through the RFID reader.
So then we have let's say the design of Vamos Cloud. Vamos Cloud is a web tool. It's a cloud service. And what happens there with a colleague, I've been to Spain, and it's now a couple of months ago. Laura, what was the colleague's name again who is doing this work normally? Sorry, yeah. I did really want to mention her name because it was so friendly when I was there. In the end, she's moving the list of articles and importing it to the Vamos Cloud service. And this is just the web service, which you see here on the screen. And then she's starting the process to the local printer. Actually, in Spain, she's sitting just next to the printer. But technically, the printer could also be in the warehouse. The printer could run in one of the two production places. So it doesn't really matter. It's a cloud service. So the worker who's working on it does not need to be next to the printer. And that's what's the offering here.
What about the hardware? The hardware that we use, as you can see, are only like 3 items, like a Faraday cage built by ourselves. Well, in fact, by our mechanician boy. I don't know.
That's so amazing. I need to add this. I think Laura is not allowed to do that. So you have Esteban at Selmark. Esteban is
it's a dream builder. It's a dream builder.
With a grown-up person about to retire, I think, and he has done so many nice things. So whenever you came across RFID, really you see these tunnels and all these things. We come to this later. But he was building RFID shielding just by normal things which you can get from a DIY shop. So you don't have to invest thousands of euros to get the specific hardware. You need the antennas, you need the sensors and all these things, yes. But the hardware, I think Selmark is a great example of being really sustainable in usage. We come to this a little bit later again. And Esteban is he was a little bit scared. We wanted to put a picture here onto the presentation. And he said, no, we don't do that. But we definitely needed to mention it here. Sorry, Laura, to interrupt you there, but that was really important.
Yeah. In addition of the Faraday cage, we must need like a PDA and a hand scanner, and that's all that we use for the first moment to run the project, because we have to do it fast and cheaper and try it if it works or not. And spoiler, it works. So yeah.
Okay, so are the phases that we did on last year and at the beginning of this year. Well, and on the phase 2, we made the tunnel for the inbound process, and also we made some cages, I think 2 or 3 cages, so for picking and reading, or also for inbound process. Well, after that, I say a couple of things about that. But on March this year, we made a RFID box in which you put one by one each item to be read, but it's not a conventional RFID box, as we can see. Maybe the Caldon style to the self checkout or something like that. But it's a specific solution, because we despite that we have to read one by one, we get a lot of items inside the box. So it's very important, the hardware that it's inside this box, to be sure that we read all the items inside. And also we build a complete pallet solution. It's a very difficult solution to deploy, because we must read thousands of items in a short period of time, because we always have the limitation of the time that we can use to read that item. So it's also a great challenge to cover the needs of Selmark in that case. Well, if you remember, we talked a few slides before about the pain points of the process as well. I will say that most of them have disappeared in deploying RFID on this process, because as I said before, the improvement that had the greatest impact on this was the speed of the identification of the items. They came from a unitary reading of each item to read hundreds and thousands of items in a few seconds. So what first the user saw was that the time he has to use to make the same operation has reduced considerably. So after we did the integration of the reading into the warehouse managed system of Selmark, the users with a very little training type about how to proceed, they were able to work with the system and gain productivity from the first minute we set the system, we were live, to say. And it was very, very important. And also from the operational point of view, what does this mean? Well, this means that we manage more orders than before. We reduce considerably also the errors we made, and we talk about productivity. I thought the percentage was increasing, the productivity was about 50, I think, Laura, it was 30%.
Yeah, 50,
so,
60. Yeah.
So I remember when we the first day we set the system, we did the rollout. The users were they say, "Wow, how can this happen? We're reading 300 of items in just less than 10 seconds." For them, it was amazing. So they can manage more orders and be more secure about the what they are preparing, all that stuff. So it was for us also, it was a very good project, because when you see that some theoretical improvements, you see the reality of them, we are very proud of this. So it was a very, very good project for us.
Yeah, in these two new phases, as we saw it in the previous one, we have the experience of the past, and we know what works and what doesn't work in terms of isolating in this case, because the hardware for us is so important, because our warehouse is full of products and is so difficult. David knows it very well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that the most brilliant thing that we can say that we do here is to reuse or reconvert some things that we have here, like shelvings or machines that we are going to see in the next slide, to read and to be fast and eco-friendly and to do it cheaper. For example, we can see in this video, in the upper part, we have the wrapping machine, and now for us is an RFID tunnel. We only put them like a isolated fabric that I think that it is for works in the street or something like that. And it works. So we are using it, and I think that is so important to working in this eco-friendly or sustainable way. I don't know if
Yeah,
yeah,
Laura, I
Stefan,
absolutely agree. I've been involved into RFID now quite a long time, and I visited Selmark now probably 2 months ago, and I was honestly really impressed to see this. Is like you don't, for sure we all want to have like fancy things, but if you think like for example the wrapping machine, or in the slide before the cage and everything what you see here, that's self-made in-house, and it's so sustainable, and you're winning so much time. And now to give you an impression about the whole situation at Selmark, we have like a little drawing which shows the two floors at Selmark, and you there quite well get an impression what David and Laura already mentioned. There are thousands of products, and there are thousands of products. If you see the upper floor and sidestep, if you see this upper floor, the third office, that's actually probably where Laura is sitting at the moment, where we were sitting. So she has a back door, and then she's coming into the warehouse, and there are, I don't know how many shelves with products. And the picking ladies, yes, it's a massive thing. You go there, and then you have to pick and select all the different orders. And now what RFID did by implementing all these things which you have already seen in the slides, it's so much easier now to have the workflow at the moment. And if you have seen other RFID implementations and this one, you really see this is just what they use in Spain at the moment, and it's already bringing such a big effort. And on the bottom floor, you see, David, what you mentioned just earlier, this little thing to make the special orders. You see the cages of the inbound for the products, and this warehouse. I hope this gives a little bit of an impression. It's massive. It's really a big thing, and a lot of. I do want to know how many steps the ladies needed to do to make picking, and which they're doing now. It's a great achievement having now RFID in place from my point of view, and it was impressive. It's really impressive to be there.
Selmark was very lucky to have a wrapping machine on their warehouse because we could empty all the electronics components and set all the RFID antennas inside, and after, with the magic of their team, of Laura's team, they built a channel for RFID inbound process. So it was great. And also what you say, we use the structure of the shelves where they put the items to isolate with some steel mesh and some fabric, special fabric, for not to propagate the signal of RFID, and to concentrate all the signal into the things that are inside that cage. That was, as I said before, I think the quantity of items to read, and also to avoid these false positives, was the great challenge of this project.
Yeah. So this project was an exit, and so super. So Rafa, who is our CEO, is gonna tell you in few words what he thinks about it.
Hello, I'm the CEO in Selmark, and here is why we are using RFID technology. Our product requires significant skilled labor and premium local materials, and we operate in a fast-paced environment where the speed from order to delivery is critical. RFID allows us to manage inventory and shipments with maximum efficiency and minimal cost. Its flexibility and scalability is the ideal solution for our needs. Thank you and goodbye.
That's so nice to hear. That's really now we did it in trainings, and I spoke to Rafa as well, and it's like so it's really just great to hear how happy an implementation can be. So now what comes next? SATO is a printer supplier. We want to sell more printers and encoders, and Laura, give us more. What comes
Yeah.
next?
The future is coming, so we are working in some things that maybe we need more printers. I don't know.
And readers,
Because
also
we
readers.
want to
Antennas and all that stuff.
yeah, all of the equipment, because we are working in improve the inventories in one of our big customer, which is El Corte Inglés here in Spain. We are working to in or thinking about opening our own network of stores. So it was so interesting for us to implement or continue with the RFID there. Of course, it would be so interesting for us if we can work with our suppliers and be sure that we can trust in the information with labels and tags from the beginning. So maybe, yeah, for sure, I gonna need you.
I would say that I think that we must set the focus now because of what have we done. We could set the focus on the store, really. So we can do a lot of things also on the store that would improve your process at the end of the supply chain. So maybe it would be the next challenge
Yes,
of
yeah.
this project.
Yeah, and things like digital product passports will come, and there will be easy steps to use the current RFID setup, which we already have, and have this then in. So Selmark, from my point of view, is ready for the future with this, and now next steps can come quite easily from my point of view.
Yeah, so that's all. Thank you for being there. I hope that it was interesting for you.
Yeah, also from my side, thanks. You see all the contact details, and I think everybody who was attending will get this presentation or will get the link to the video. So feel free to reach out in regards of questions. But
okay, thank you very much, everyone. So I say the same. If you have any question about that, will be a pleasure to answer.
All right, so we'll get into some questions and answers. If you have any questions, like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, you can ask them through the Q&A application at the bottom of the screen. We do have a couple questions here. Our first question, after this implementation phases, what is the ROI/profit of this development? And I think that would be for you, Laura.
Yeah, I think that we say during all the presentation, it was efficiently. We can reduce by the half the time that we used to spend to deliver our customer orders. Furthermore, I think that David talked about it, or Stefan, I don't remember, the number of steps that the girls do in the warehouse. Now there are less more than before. Yeah, I think that it was so more or less the important things about that. Yeah, that's all.
All right, and then the next question we have here is, how did you avoid misreading of items? I think that's for you, David.
I think that's for me. Well, we have talked several times during the webinar. We got some specific scenario. We got a lot of items to be read, a lot of items around us. We have small label. We also have, we didn't talk before, an static scenario for reading tags. That's very difficult because when you read in movement, it's more easy to detect the tags. where they are static. So in some cases, technology by itself cannot cover that situation of false positive. So we need to set the focus on, from my point of view, on three more layers from RFID technology. The first one would be the software. We got a middleware, we got a special RFID agent which has intelligence to set the algorithms that you need for these specific reading points. We set the exposure time, we set the power of the antennas, we set the threshold for the readings, we set some key configuration that allows us to avoid some false positive, but maybe in some cases, as I said before, it's not enough. So we come to the next step, of the next layer will be the physical layer. So we need some barriers, as you have seen on the slides, some steel mesh, some fabric that could keep the signal not to propagate outside the cage. That would be something that we must use in that kind of scenario, that we have a lot of items around us. And the final layer, I will say, that would be the human layer. Why? Because if we have got a proper integration of what we have read into the warehouse managed system, after that, a user can see what the system has made a notification, so he can put some criteria on the data he's seeing and discard some data, or even add some data, some additional data. So I think those are the three layers that can keep sure of what we are notifying to the system, that is the correct readings we have to notify, not other ones.
All right, and then the next question we have here is, what were the challenges during the implementation?
I think that we have answered that question many times during but from my point of view, the quantity of items to be read and the isolating the areas of reading and to avoid the false positive. That was the very difficult challenge we had on this reading scenario. Yeah,
I'm agree with David. Yeah,
I think another important topic, but it's a general thing in RFID, is bringing the right partners to the table. So in the beginning, it stands like whom do I want to involve, and I think this is a challenge where webinars like this one is really helpful, because you see live how another company is doing it, and probably you can learn from this a lot. And what I learned there was when I was in Spain, that there in the beginning were really a little bit like, okay, what is the evaluation? Who do I involve? And then in the end, yeah, mainly the three parties which are now here. Additionally, sure, we have there are antenna manufacturers, and there are chip providers, and all these things which we need to have. But yeah, like you're facing a lot of challenges during the implementation. But yeah, we have a happy result. We have a happy CEO. That's good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
and then our last question today: what happens with bad tags?
Okay, that's probably one for me, because the printer is mainly doing something then with the tag. Actually, it hardly happens that you have bad tags on a roll of labels, but it does happen, and the printer is controlling, and the system is controlling itself. So if there is a bad tag, it gets voided and then directly reported to the system that this is not something which you will find in the system. And as it's voided, so it's black marked, or it's you can clearly see that you should not use this tag. The coworker will just not use it. So this is like safe that this is this is not in use after printing.
All right. So I wanted to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you to all of you who registered. Hope you enjoyed this presentation as much as I did. I want to thank our panelists, Laura, Stefan, and David. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks from our side as well. Enjoy the afternoon.